Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the season finale of Off the Bench. We're missing Isaac tonight. He had to take care of some personal matters back home, but the show goes on.
Yep.
So you know, the topics for our final episode of the season are, our weekly Pirates update, the Kyler Murray draft pick, getting picked number 1 overall in the draft, and to go along with that, the trade of Josh Rosen by the Arizona Cardinals. And then we had to question a little debate maybe here. Who is the greatest football family in the history of the NFL? So we'll have a little debate on who we think that is. And then our future plans of Off the Bench going into the summertime. And to go along with that, some exciting news from our second guest appearance for Mark Cheese Kazanowicz here. So let's get into it. Maui Pirates Weekly Update. What do we got?
Well, they lost 8 straight. They were the number 1 team in the NL, as we were a couple weeks ago.
12-6, they were.
Yeah. Now they find themselves 4th in their division,
Mm-hmm.
which, I know it's a pretty tight division. But, a lot of injuries have happened lately. Cervelli's playing very poor. And you know what? Pitching can only do so much. I know how much we hyped it up. And, obviously you have to be a good, well-rounded team to be a winner.
Cheese?
Maui said it. They're 7th in baseball in pitching. You can't ask for anything more.
Yep.
Now, Archer's going to the IL, I believe I read that. So it's going to hurt a little bit. But what's really hurting them, they're 29th out of 30th in fielding. That's unacceptable. They're giving up 3-4 errors a game. That can't happen. As far as the bats, you'd like to think they're going to come around. They're mid-20s in batting. They need power. That stadium was built for left-handed power hitters.
Like
And
Pedro Alvarez.
Like Pedro Alvarez, but they don't have one. You'd like to think Bell is that guy, but inconsistency.
Still a little young.
He's young. It's definitely a grooming process there, but they got to figure it out here soon. Time's a ticking.
Yeah, especially in the Central, which is going to be a pretty tough division this year. And the difference between this week when they lost 8 straight and the week before when they were 12-6 is, like you said, the pitching's 7th in the league, but the pitching the first couple weeks of the season was like ERA
Incredible.
150 and under. You can't expect that the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they're still 7 shows you the offensive struggles. And, they have some injuries right now. Corey Dickerson's still out. Marte with that awful collision that we talked about last week. But like Cheese said and like Maui said, they got to get it going here quickly. So that's our little weekly update on the Pirates, which we'll continue to give even throughout the summertime, which we'll get into later. But
The Cubs are going to get hot.
Yeah, absolutely. The Cubs are.
I had them finishing first.
Yeah.
I like them. They're not a team that's going to blow you out of the water regular season, but come postseason with that rotation, they're hard to beat in a 7-game series. Very hard to beat.
Well, let's go from baseball to football, and let's talk about Kyler Murray and also the Josh Rosen trade. Cheese, we'll start with you.
I personally thought the Cardinals should have taken Joey Bosa.
Okay.
With the first pick. I think he's
A
best
lot of
player in the
people. A lot
draft.
of people were with you
I
on
think he
that.
fits better. But when I look at it from the quarterback standpoint, the Cardinals were crazy not to take Murray from a quarterback standpoint. Cliff Kingsbury, the new head coach of the Cardinals, he has coached likes of Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes in college. All 3 of those are not your typical prototypical passers. They all have some craftiness, dual threat in them, which Kyler Murray does. The one true pocket passer he coached in college, Davis Webb, is unheard of. Rosen is your pocket passer. Murray fits his system better. And when you look at it with the Dolphins in the trade, the Dolphins are bringing a new head coach. Their offensive coordinator is going to be Chad O'Shea, been with the Patriots for 10 years. He's going to run a similar system that McDaniels runs. Heavy tight ends, a lot of slot receivers, more of a West Coast type, which fits Rosen perfectly. So I think it's a good fit for Rosen, good fit for Murray. Kingsbury gets his guy. The only thing I didn't like, Arizona never embraced Josh Rosen. They never did.
And I think they lied to him also. A couple months ago, I don't know whether it was Kingsbury or the GM in Arizona said Josh Rosen's our quarterback.
The GM said that.
Yeah, so there was definitely a trust issue there, which would have been hard
Absolutely.
for Rosen to come back even after
Yes.
that. But like you said, and my major point on that trade was Rosen never really fit in with the Cardinals.
No.
He was only there for 1 year. He was the 11th overall pick in the draft, but he'll fit Miami's system better. And just a quick thing for me is it was a good pick for Arizona for Kyler
Yeah,
Murray.
you know what? I agree with you, Noah. I really do like the pick. Arizona's been struggling by keeping a quarterback. They haven't had a real quarterback since Kurt Warner in like 2010 or 2010.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had Carson Palmer back in about 2014, 15. He had one good season, but now they have Ricky Seals-Jones as tight end. David Johnson's coming back again, and Kyler Murray. Very explosive offensive stars right there. But now they need to work on getting a big receiver for Kyler Murray to throw to.
Ricky Seals-Jones, I remember playing with him in NCAA football back in the day when they made that game. They should bring that game back. But
the other thing that I think is a big point with that, Arizona's offensive line is pretty bad.
Yeah.
They were in the bottom of the NFL last year. Rosen's not really a mobile guy. He struggles with that.
Right.
Now Murray, with a bad offensive line, he's going to be able to escape some pressures, and that fits better. And he goes to Miami, who has a sound offensive line. They have good talent, young talent, albeit, but it's an all-around better fit for both guys, I believe. Because if Murray doesn't go 1, he's probably going 6 to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And that franchise is in turmoil right now. They don't know what direction to go to.
yeah, I agree. So.
And that New York spotlight, what does that do to Murray? First-round baseball pick. Does he try to be too much Hollywood and not enough quarterback like New York has done to some people? Did it to Tebow a little bit with the Jets. Mark Sanchez, would have he fallen into that trap? I would say no.
Well, that was
but it's a possibility.
That was another interesting thing about this. That how much money did Murray turn down from the from the MLB? Was it the A's? They were giving him $15 million or something to stick with baseball, and he thought that football would be a better path choice for him, which I agree. And overall, like we said, it was a good pick for the Cardinals.
Does Murray start game 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Josh Rosen start game 1?
Well,
They
Ryan
have Ryan
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick.
That'll be a battle within training
I don't
camp.
know that. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a decent, I don't know,
Well,
He's won
decent
games.
4 weeks.
4 or 5 games
4
last
weeks.
year.
If it's magic, man, he wins games.
Well, if they're first month of the season, yeah.
True.
Well, moving on, we talked about Bosa going number 2.
Yeah.
So, in light of that, let's talk about who is the best family in the history of the NFL. Maui, you start first.
Well, yeah,
Who's your best family?
Well, you just want to know my best family?
You tell us your best family, then you tell them why.
The Matthews family.
Yep.
They're number 1. They have Clay Matthews Sr., who started off when he was drafted in 1950. They have Clay Matthews Jr., Clay Matthews III father, Clay Matthews III. He plays for the outside linebacker for the Los Angeles Raiders now, or Rams now. Clay Matthews Jr. will be a Hall of Famer pretty soon. Clay Matthews playing right now will be a Hall of Famer in the future, both from USC. Bruce Matthews, geez, there's a lot of Matthews here. All right,
Yeah.
so
That's why they're the best.
Yeah, exactly. Center played for the Houston Oilers and the Tennessee Titans. He's already in the Hall of Fame. And Jake Matthews, tackle from Texas A&M, he was a Pro Bowler in 2018. So a lot of talent. It's in their DNA, and I just love them.
I completely agree with Maui on that. And just to piggyback off of that, what people sometimes forget, Clay Matthews III, who's playing now, also had a younger brother, Casey Matthews. Played 4 years with the Eagles, no longer in the league. Bruce, who was already in the Hall of Fame. His 2 boys, Jake, as you had mentioned, Pro Bowler last year, offensive lineman for the Falcons. And his other son, Kevin, played 3 years in the NFL. Only started about 2 or 3 games, but was in the league. And you know where it all started from? H.L. Matty Matthews, born in the 1800s. The father of Clay Sr., played minor league baseball and was an amateur boxer.
Wow,
It started in the
I didn't know that.
1800s, and it goes the whole way to now. And I'll be willing to bet when Clay the Third or Kevin or any of the boys now have a son, chances are they're going to be a pretty good athlete.
Yeah.
Well-
So it's the Matthews hands down. All due respect to the Mannings, that's 120 years of NFL talent. I can't argue that. And the lineman would appreciate that,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Well, hey, if the Matthews family is ever listening to this, somebody can write their family book right here.
Family tree, maybe.
Family tree, yeah.
Texas, hey,
We
you
get
know
a
who?
historian of the Matthews family, Mark Cheese Kazanowicz.
You know who Jake Matthews protected at Texas A&M when he was
Johnny
the left tackle?
Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
Yep.
Your favorite player?
Where's his
Favorite-
family tree, Ron?
Johnny?
Yeah.
His dad's a scratch golfer. That's all I
Okay.
got. That's all I
Well,
got.
Mine would, not that I necessarily agree, because the Matthews family is going to go down in history as probably the greatest family in the history of the NFL. But what do you guys say number 2? I'd say probably the Mannings.
Yeah.
So you're saying Matthews is number 1 as well?
Yeah, I came into this not thinking that, but just the history, and you going even deep into the 1800s, just makes you think of, look where that family started, and look where they're still in the NFL now. So that's interesting to me. But if we talk about the Mannings a little bit, I think what really kills them is Archie, the father. He didn't have a great career.
Well, he played.
He played for three teams. He didn't play in a playoff game. He didn't have one playoff game in his career.
If Cooper would have had the career that people thought,
And that's a lot.
Well,
maybe.
That's the
But
Manning that
injury.
It's an
that
if.
people forget about.
right?
Because he didn't make it. And Peyton had an outstanding career. He holds records in the NFL.
How many Super Bowl rings does that family have? 4?
Yeah, 2 and 2, right?
That's it. Not for Archie.
And Peyton, he couldn't have ended his career in a better way, winning the Super Bowl with Denver.
Right.
Eli seems to be the only one to figure out Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
Beat them in the Super Bowl twice.
That's right.
And Peyton, 14 Pro Bowl appearances. Archie had 2 Pro Bowls, and Eli had 4. A long history of success in the league.
2 Hall of Famers right there.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And there's many great football families.
Family.
You can
The
wrap-
Hasselbacks, the Barbers,
Oh,
the
the
Watts.
Hasselbacks.
Hey, they played. I mean, they were 2 NFL quarterbacks.
The Barbers are another big
Yeah.
one.
2 Hall
Those
of
are 2
Famers.
Hall of Fame players right there.
Twins.
Yes.
Came out of the womb at the same, almost the same time, basically.
There's quite a few. And then you have some smaller ones. Think of the Winslow. Kevin Winslow Sr., Hall of Famer. His son, Kellen Winslow Jr., Miami Hurricane. Didn't have the best NFL career, but was a good tight end in the NFL. You had mentioned the Watts.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of good family bloodlines to play in the NFL.
Doing some research about this today, Walter Payton had a brother that played in the league. I did not know
He
about
had a
it.
son.
A son.
Yeah.
But that's
Garrett, I believe it was.
and
We're also forgetting another family with 2 Hall of Famers. Shannon Sharp and Sterling Sharp.
Yeah.
Well, Sterling's not there, but I hope he
Sterling is on the ballot to
He
get
really
his.
should
Shannon
be. He
is
was
in.
great.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, moving on from that, let's Maui and I will carry this, but we'll throw Cheese in because Cheese has some exciting news to share with our fans. But let's talk about our future plans. So going into the summer, like I said in the beginning, this is our season finale, but we'll be throwing out content all summer long.
Yeah.
3 to 4 episodes each week. We'll be featuring Cheese a lot, especially in the episodes with me. But each of us will have a solo episode. Maui has a surprise. I don't even know what the name of his episode is going to be.
Neither do
yet.
I.
But we will find out about that in the future. My show will be called The Double Play, and then we'll have Isaac in Cleveland with the Cleveland Corner. A couple other things that we're going to cover this summer: the Westmoreland County 7-on-7 football tournament. Is it a tournament?
It is a 7-on-7 tournament.
Okay.
Adelaide Drove High
Pennsylvania.
School.
So that'll be something that we can get into covering, which we have expectations for next fall to start covering some high school football games. And then also Westmoreland County Summer Basketball Shootout, another tournament where teams from the entire WPIAL come in to play each other, which will be something that we really look forward to covering in the solo episodes. Maui, do you want to tell the fans where a couple of the episodes are going to be for your solo?
So when I go on vacation between May 22nd and around June 3rd, I'll be in Hawaii, so look out. Some episodes might be in Hawaii.
And even though we're going to have different names for these solo episodes through the summer, since we all can't get together, they still will be produced by Off the Bench.
Mm-hmm.
So Cheese has some exciting news to share for Off the Bench getting some recognition at a local golf outing this summer. So Cheese, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so as everyone knows, I've been on this show twice now. I'm a big fan of this. I love sports. I love sports debates. What's going on here? Great. I love being a part of it. As a thank you from me to you guys for bringing me on, there's a local golf outing in July supporting the Borough football program. There is donations, banners, etc. You can sponsor holes, and I personally will be paying for the sponsorship for Off the Bench to sponsor a hole, have advertisements at the golf outing on the carts. On the hole, you'll have a full sign that'll be completely covered.
Maui and I will be attending the golf outing also, so we'll actually be golfing with you, I
You will be
believe.
golfing with me, and that will be donated out of my pocket for you guys as a
We
thank you.
appreciate that. We
Just
do.
to give you guys some more notoriety. I like everything that's going on here.
Well, we
There's a lot
appreciate
of-
you coming on the show. You know, you have a busy schedule with work, and for you to come out here, I know you're only 25 minutes away, but we do this because we love talking sports, and hopefully it gets to become a career for us someday. And Cheese there's not a better person. We'll be showing our other guest who came on a couple times later on to thank him also, but
We just got to make sure you guys are in burrow gear on football season.
There it is,
Coming
right
some
there.
games.
There it is,
The
right
double
there.
B.
I'm not
Play
allowed
fast.
to wear a pearl.
Well,
You're gonna have to talk to my coach about that.
we can make some exceptions.
But yeah, moving on from that, our plans. We're really looking forward to Maui and I will also be getting together for the end of June and the end of July to film one big episode.
Yeah, the hem
Like
coach,
this kind of
Oh, okay.
setting here. So we'll be getting into that, and then we look forward to expanding our viewers. We had expectations coming into this, and we've surpassed those
Yeah,
expectations.
we exceeded them
And
tremendously.
this has been something that's been going on since February, and we just want to thank everybody out there, and we'll get into the thanks here. So I'll start it off thanking a couple people. First off, Mr. Dave Saffin, he supplied us with the equipment. The camera that you're watching us, that we recorded on, is from Mr. Saffin, and he's also given Maui and I and Isaac a lot of professional advice to make this thing run smoother for us. And then Mr. Jeff Siddick, again, for professional advice. Mrs. Jennifer Yankoviak has been huge for us. She let us come into her marketing class to help market our brand here. And she helped us make so many connections. And getting into those connections, one of them, we'd like to thank Mrs. Leslie Sansone. She came in to speak in our reporting and broadcasting class, and she's given us a lot of great advice on company startups. She started her own company, and it turned into a big success for her, and possible filming locations that
Yes.
we'll get into when we get to that, but it's pretty exciting stuff. A couple more here. Mr. Jake Herron supplied us this superb logo, and we're in the process of getting a new logo to, kind of brighten our brand a little bit.
Yeah.
Put us as the faces of it, and we're going to bring a thanks on to Mr. Nate Roebuck, who's here in attendance tonight. Buck's been on the show 2 times now, right?
Absolutely, 2 times.
Appreciate everything you've done for us.
This is the third if you're counting.
Yeah,
this
this
one.
would be
Yeah, this
number
would be
3,
the third.
Buck. Just thanks for coming on. And Buck, it was kind of like when we would film these episodes, Buck, we didn't give him much time to prepare, but he would come on and he would be 100% into what we were doing. He's 100% into everything that's going on here. And then another one, Mr. Mark Cheese Kazanowicz, like we said earlier, for being a guest multiple times, and also giving us professional advice, being in the industry as well with selling headsets. But a couple, I wanted to, Maui's going to thank the viewers at the end, but a couple specific viewers. Nick Hoyser, Cheese knows him real well. He's been a supporter since day one.
The man, the myth,
Yeah.
the legend.
He watches every episode, and I've been promising him a shout out, so here it is, Nick. And Jordan York, who
Yeah.
Maui and I have talked to a couple times, a local celebrity, we should say,
Pittsburgh area.
giving us great advice. And Jordan, hopefully we get you on the show someday. But Maui has a couple people
Yeah,
we'd like to thank also.
the head coach for St. Vincent football, Coach Smetanka, for our first interview, for our first
First
ever
guest,
episode. That was huge. Mr. Stoltz, a professor here, for giving us advice. Phil,
Phil, come on.
our executive
Phil.
producer.
Phil's been there
Get in
since
front
day
of the
one.
camera, Phil. I know you don't spend a lot of time in
Alright.
front of it,
Phil.
but it's all right.
All right.
Phil,
Front there.
if I can add a couple
Yeah, go
things on
ahead.
Phil. When Maui and I and Isaac came up with the idea to start this, it started out as a podcast. We didn't have video
Yeah.
involved. We wanted to have like a kind of like a radio station, but Phil was there from day one. I think we met with him on the
The
week,
day before.
a couple days before the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's where this thing kind of kicked off right around Super Bowl Sunday. And Phil has been
He's-
a huge part of this. He's here
Yeah.
every episode. He's here behind the camera, and it goes unnoticed sometimes
It
because
does.
he's behind the camera. But we don't forget about you,
No.
Phil.
Well, I'm happy to be here and look forward to all that we've got. Looking forward
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
future seasons.
Yeah, Phil
So-
will continue to be with us through the summer and next winter before he graduates and goes off into the real world. But maybe this could be the real world,
Yeah.
world for you
Yeah,
someday.
We'll
Phil.
see.
And then Michael Scholar, our editor, he'll be editing this final episode.
He's been there since.
He's been, 5 or 6 episodes right
Yeah.
now? And lastly, our fans and our subscribers and viewers.
That's probably one of the biggest
Huge.
ones out
Yeah,
there.
you guys make it all happen. We do it for you guys, and we enjoy it.
So that will do it for us here at Off the Bench and a conclusion of season 1. Thank you for your continued support as our viewers. You played a vital role in the startup of our show here, Off the Bench. And please watch for our solo episode starting in 2 weeks. We're going to have a week in between here because finals is next week. So we know everyone's going to be busy with finals. So good luck on your finals starting next week. And have an outstanding summer. And we'll see you soon. As Isaac would say, let's all do it together.
Peace!